Okay, good evening, dear Dhamma friends. Uh, I welcome all of you for today's Dhamma talk. And uh, before I begin my talk, I would like to give a small introduction about myself. I am Bhante Pesala from Sri Lanka, and uh, last time also I have given a talk, and this is my second time. And uh, that is my introduction. And with that, let's begin our talk. Let's all together, let's worship our Supreme Teacher, the Supreme Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. And also, I would like to invite all the deities and all the superhuman beings, supernatural beings, uh, to attend for this Dhamma talk. Let's invite them in Pali. Samanta Chakhavalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddhammang Munirajassa Sunanto Sagga Mokkadang Dhammasavana Kalo Ayang Bhadanta Dhammasavana Kalo Ayang Bhadanta Dhammasavana Kalo Ayang Bhadanta. Okay, with that, let's begin our talk. And I again welcome every one of you for today's Dhamma talk. And today, as we scheduled, uh, I'm going to discuss with you a very important and valuable sutra discussion. Uh, you know, in Buddha's teachings, we can have lots of varieties. So this sutra is from Anguttara Nikaya. It is known as numbered discourses, and the sutra is named as Andha Chakku Sutra. Andha means the blinded, uh, Chakku mean the eye, blinded eye. So it talk about the blind eye. So when when we are in the darkness, we cannot see things clearly. So similarly, also when we don't have eye, then we cannot see things. So in one time, Buddha said, "Dear monks, there are two kinds of darkness in this world prevailing. What are two? The one is the pitch darkness when we are in the night time. Suppose when we happen to live without any light, so we are in the darkness. So in that darkness, we are very refugeless because we cannot move here and there because we cannot see. And the Buddha said there is another type of darkness that is called the darkness of ignorance, or the darkness of not knowing things properly, not seeing things properly. The talk of, this is about the spiritual ignorance. So when you have that ignorance, you are in a pitch darkness and you cannot see things. So the Buddha asks, out of those two, which one is the most dangerous darkness? And Buddha further explained, the darkness of the ignorance is the most dangerous one, because when you are in the darkness at the night, when the following day, when the sun arises, when the sun setting up, you could see the world. But when you are at the darkness of the this ignorance, you have to continuously suffer in the journey of the samsara. So that's why the Buddha asked. So suppose then we have the way now, as Buddhist, and as as the world masses, this is Buddha's time. Buddha appeared and Buddha's Dhamma still luckily prevails, and we have the way of eradicating, removing those darkness of ignorance. But still, people are living without eyes. So what will happen? Even the light is there, but they cannot use the light because they cannot see. So here the sutra today talk, Buddha talking about the eye. So the capability of seeing things. In Buddhism there are five types of eyes. The first type is known as a Mansa Chaksu, the normal physical eye that everybody have. And the second type of is known as Dibba Chakku. That means it's a it's the eye uh, we achieved when we perform higher level of mental training. So in that eye we can see things which are very far away from us, like things in this space. And there are some incidents mentioned in the in the sutras. And also the third type of eye known as uh, Panya Chakku, that means the wisdom eye. And the fourth type is known as Buddha Chakku, that is the ability of seeing everything by the Buddha. And the fifth one is known as Samanta Chakku, that is also belongs to the Buddha. The third type, fourth type, and the fifth type belongs to the enlightened one, especially Buddha and the Arahant and other beings. But the second type, it's a if you can see a very far away thing, it may feels like for you it's a miraculous thing. It is a thing of giving amazingness to our lives. But the Buddha said, someone can produce this divine eye, and by that he can see things which are very far away from him, because that eye, even before the Buddha, people have achieved. But there's nothing amazement within that. So the Buddha mainly focusing about the Panya Chakku. Panya Chakku means the wisdom eye. That eye, when you have that eye, you can completely eradicate that, the previously I mentioned, the darkness of ignorance. Then thereby you can find happiness, and you can put an end to this continuous suffering. So let's with that, let's move into the sutra. So in this sutra, Buddha talk about uh, there are Buddha begin sutra like this: tayo me bhikkave puggala santo sanvijjamana lokasmi. Because there are three kinds of peoples are available in this world, Buddha said. And Buddha said, Katame tayo. And what are three? So Buddha goes further. Andho ekachakku dichakku. Andho mean the kind of person they don't have the eyesight at all. And the second type, ekachakku, that means those who are having one eye. And the third type of eye, those who are having both the eyes, two-eyed persons. So likewise there are these three kinds of people are there in the world. So Buddha explained further, Katamocha bhikkave puggalo ando. Then Buddha explained, who is the one who is totally blind, who is the one which is totally blind. And Buddha said, it's someone who doesn't have the kind of vision that's needed to acquire more wealth or to increase the wealth they have already acquired. So here the Buddha talk about physical capabilities, like in our world we could see so many people, they are having materialistic wealth, and physically they are very wealthy enough to have a comfortable life. And this particular person, they don't have that ability. Physically they are not well enough to maintain their life. So, and also uh, no do they have the kind of vision that's needed to know the difference between qualities that are skillful and unskillful. So uh, here Buddha talk about the spiritual side of the person. This particular person, spiritually, he don't have any knowledge or the vision to identify the differences between the skillful qualities and also the unskillful qualities, and also the blameworthy qualities and the blameless qualities, inferior qualities and superior qualities, and also the dark side of the lives, and also the bright side of the life. This is called the blind person. This particular person doesn't have, he doesn't have any capability of living a physically comfortable life, and also he doesn't know, he doesn't have any knowledge of gaining the spiritual knowledge also. Spiritually he's not finding, he's not capable enough to find spiritual happiness. And there Buddha comes about the second type of person, katamocha bhikkave puggalo ekachakku, who is the person with one eye. It's someone who has the kind of vision that's needed to acquire more wealth and to increase the wealth they have already acquired. So this second type of person, he is having one eye, so he is very capable enough to find materialistic gain, and he is already having some kind of materialistic wealth, and he know how to enhance it, how to develop it, by playing, by having good professions, good, by hard working. He know how to earn physical wealth, but still, but they don't have the vision that's needed to know the difference between the skillful and unskillful qualities, and blameworthy and blameless qualities, and dark side of the life and the bright side of the life. That mean, though he clever enough, though he talent enough to find materialistic gains, but still he is lacking behind of, the knowledge which is needed to have the spiritual gains. Spiritually he doesn't uh, have the eye to develop spiritual qualities, human qualities. So he has only one line. And further, Buddha talk about the third type of person, Katamocha Bhikkave Puggolo Dvichakku. And when the monks, who is the person with two eyes, the Buddha said, it's someone who has the kind of vision that's needed to acquire more wealth and to increase the wealth that they have already have. So this, the third type of person, not like the previous two, he's having physical wealth, and also he know exactly how to manage the physical wealth. And not only that, so it's kind of a eye that which he deserve, which he having. And they have they also have the second type of vision. They needed to know the difference between the skillful and unskillful qualities, and also the blameworthy and blameless qualities, and also inferior and superior qualities. And they know the eye, which is to differentiate uh, between the dark side and the bright side of the life. And since they are known as the Dvichakku person or the two-eyed persons, because he know how to manage materialistic gains, and also know how to manage the spiritual well-being. So these are the kind of two persons in the world, the Buddha said. And after that, Buddha had given very beautiful three stanzas, few stanzas. It gives much deeper meaning. So I'm going to explain them in Pali, and I would further explain in English. It's beautifully said. Nacheva bhoga tatha rupa nacha punyani kubbati ubayatha kali gaho andassa hatha chakkuno. That means neither suitable wealth no merit do they make. It talks about the one-eyed person. They lose on both accounts. The one-eyed, the in first it talk about the totally blind person. This totally blind person, uh, will fail, will be failed in both the aspects, both materialistically, and also both physically and also the mentally. They lose on both counts, those who are blind with ruined eyes, because he doesn't have any positive side, spiritual side. He also failed, and also uh, the materialistic side or the physical side. He's failed. They are failed. Athapara අථාපරායන් අක්ඛාතෝ ඒකචක්ඛූච පුද්ගලෝ ධම්මා ධම්මේන සසටෝ භෝගානි පරියේසති. Here I talk about the one-eyed person, and now the one-eyed person is explained. The Buddha said, by methods of good and bad, that devious person seeks wealth. So this one-eyed person, though he is having physical capacity, and he, as I said, he know how to enhance, how to develop the physical wealth. Uh, you know, since he doesn't know any knowledge about spiritual well-being, he's not considered here as a worthy person. The Buddha further explain about him. Theyena koota kammena musavadena vubhayam kusalo hoti sanghatun kama bhogicha manavo itoso nirayangantva ekachakhu vihanyati. The Buddha said, both by fraudulent thieving deeds, because he earns physical wealth in both ways. Sometimes using uh, he may be using wholesome ways, and sometimes he use cunning methods to earn money, because he doesn't know the spiritually well behavior. He doesn't know, so thereby he doesn't think about the good and bad of the world, the positive and the negative of the world. He thinks only about the materialistic gains. So the Buddha said, he do lying, he do cunning things. The young man's skilled at piling up money. He's very skilled at piling up money and enjoying the sensual pleasures. And he physically he have the capacity of enjoying the life. From here they go to hell. The one-eyed person is ruined. You know, the the first person is known as the two ruined eyes. The second type of person, though he had having a one eye, still he is a kind of a ruined person, because he enjoys only this life. After this life, because of his cunningness and his bad behavior, he will be born in the hells, and he had to suffer in future lives. Then the Buddha talk about the last one, uh, the one who is having both the eyes. Duchakku pana akhato setho purisa puggalo dhamma laddehi bhogehi uttanadhi gatang dhanang. And now the two-eyed is explained. The best individual, their wealth is earned legitimately, money acquired by their own hard work. And also Buddha further explain, Dadati settha sankappo avyagga manaso naro upeti bhaddakan dhanang yattha gantva sochati. They give with best of intentions. That peaceful hearted person, they go to a good place where there is no sorrow. So the two-eyed person is the best. Why? In this life also he is happy, he is enjoying the life, because spiritually he is wealthy enough, and he is talent, and he is very capable enough to increase the physical wealth. That's why the Buddhism is not basically talk about the nirvana. It is gives us lots of things to develop our physical day-to-day lives even. And so since he is knowing this, he is having this kind of eye. In physically also he is enjoying his life, and spiritual also he is attaining higher level of jhana, higher level of mental states, and still he's happy. And not only that, after the death, even at the death also he's not fearing any for the death, because he don't find any difference between living and the death. Because when you know the Dhamma, there is no difference between dying and the death, because uh, the living is also coming with causes and conditions, and also the death is also the same. It's also impermanence thing, and It depends on the causes and condition. When the persons with two white persons, they know exactly this. So they are, they are enjoying at all the time in this life. They enjoying, and the death also they enjoying, and even after the death also they can enjoy their lives. And finally, Buddha giving very beautiful and very important advice here. Andancha ekachakkuncha araka parivajje. The Buddha very, Buddha said importantly that the blind and the one-eyed you should avoid from afar. I mean, we have to disassociate with them, because when we associate with them, we are not getting any benefits. I mean, we also have the tendency to become like them. So that's why Buddha asks us to try to being away, try to keep away them from us. And Buddha further said, Vijakum pana seveta setam purisa puggalanti. But you should keep the two-eyed close. He's the best individual. So with that, the sutra ends here. So you can see that the beauty of this sutra. He talk about the whole aspects of the masses. If you carefully look into this world, you can see that these three types of people available, even any kind of society in the world. So we have to be very careful. And these two-eyed persons are very super rare in the world and very difficult to find. So the most prominent character of the two-eyed persons is our great teacher, the Supreme Buddha. And since that the community of Sangha is coming up to that these days, coming up to present. And since we have able to listen this kind of teachings, so that will help us to produce the eyes. So when we have the eyes, that means, as I explained in the earlier, the most beauty of these teachings is to when we can produce the eye of Dhamma. When you have the vision, like as I said, if you know, if when you are in the darkness, and if you have the light, and also if you have the good visibility, and if your eyesight is good, then you can go through any destination, any desired destination of you, without any support, because you can see things clearly. So similar thing happens here when you have the panya eye. Panya eye means the wisdom eye. So when you learn about Dhamma, you get the vision. I mean panya chakku, the wisdom eye. So when you have the wisdom eye, like when you have the physical eye, as I said, you can see things clearly. You can avoid obstacles. You can avoid obstacle, and you can go through a particular destination clearly without any difficulties, because you can see things clearly. And if you found any obstacle in between the journey, you can take any necessary actions to, if the difficulty is, if the obstacle is too hard to overcome, you can put much more effort to, I mean, eradicate that. So similarly, when you have the panya chakku, or the wisdom mind, when you're going through the path of the Dhamma, or the path of Nibbana, at that time also you can see things clearly. When the when the mental afflictions, mental defilements, yeah, even the physical, when you see any kind of difficulties, because you can see them, then you can put necessary actions. So that's why, as Buddhist, we must have the wisdom of uh, panya, wisdom mind, the vision of uh, vision of we must have the vision of panya, I mean vision of wisdom. Then we can see things clearly. That's why the more the bhavana, or bhavana, I mean, people, I heard that people use mostly the term meditation. It's not, gives you the proper meaning. The meaning of the bhavana, bhaveti Vaddeti etayati bhavana. That means bhaveti mean you always using. Vaddeti mean you always enhancing. That's called bhavana. So uh, people think that bhavana, like when you go to a 10 days retreat and when you go to a 20 days retreat and you continuously sit for 5 to 6 hours, that's called bhavana. No, that is a wrong impression, wrong understanding. You can do bhavana even when you are giving dana also, because dana, when you giving dana mean giving, and you can convert that into a meditation, bhavana method, that is called thyaganupassana. If you continuously reflect on the benefits of the dana, then it will become a bhavana. So also, suppose people think that morality doesn't give us much things. We need to hardly maintain the mindfulness, and we need to hardly do the bhavana and gain the jhanas. And people depreciate about the value of the morality. It means sealer. But the persons who are having the eye, they can develop the sealer even, because they can maintain sealer with wisdom eye, so they can do bhavana even at that time also. In the there's a particular way called sila anusati. Sila anusati mean we reflect on the qualities of the morality, so that will eventually will become a bhavana, and it will produce you the jhanas. So that is the importance of having the eye. And most importantly, Buddhist are, they are proudly saying, we are following the vipassana. So, but still they don't know the meaning of that. So vipassana mean what? If vipassana, if I explain it further, we mean it's a term in Pali. We put before a particular word. The purpose of putting that word term is to enhance the quality of the word. Here the we mean a super. Passana mean seeing. Vipassana mean you can, especially you have the eye to see things clearly, not only the physical thing, but the, spiritually. And you can see the world, whole world, including yourself, including within your body, within your life. And also you can understand the, physically you cannot, maybe you maybe cannot see the, you know, infinite distance things, like, uh, in the further planet. If you cannot we cannot see the things in planet, but when you have the wisdom mind, you know exactly what is happening there, because the reality is uh, equal to everywhere. Even at the end of the universe, the same reality is going on. So that's why the having the importance of vipassana. So the people, those who are saying that we do vipassana, but when they meditate, when they do bhavana, and when their mind comes to the certain level of mental absorptions, and they don't know how to uh, face that situation, how to overcome that obstacle, that means it means they don't have vipassana. When you have vipassana, mean you have the good vision with the wisdom. And when you live in the physical world, even without jhana, you know how to live happily. You know how you can see things clearly, so you know how to escape and circumnavigate your obstacles. And also when you are performing jhana and you get the jhana, at that time also you know how to handle them, because jhana, when you have the jhana, you are into the formless abodes. At that time also you know how to deal with them. And suppose if you go for beyond the formless jhanas, and if you have the formless jhanas, at that time also you know how to handle it. So Buddha has given us the vipassana, mean the special ability of seeing things. The wisdom mind is to see the things clearly in the world, in all the worlds. You know, Kamavachara mean this sense pleasure world, and also the Rupavachara mean the form world, and Arupavachara mean the formless world. These are the three kinds of world. When you have the wisdom mind, you can live anywhere in the world, because you can see things clearly. So then physically you have to you have to carefully maintain your life with physical well-being. Otherwise, suppose when you are hungry and you don't have anything to eat, and you try to do bhavana, Is it possible? No. uh, the Buddha said, like, first most to have the mental health, mental comfort, you first and foremost you have to physically, you have to be comfort, otherwise you cannot gain the mental comfort. Kaya sukha and chitta sukha. So when you have the kaya sukha, mean the physical comfort, that means, as I said, the as I said in the sutra, the two white persons first think about the physical behavior, and he tried to physically make a comfortable environment, and thereby then, since he having the second type of eyes also, he tries to go further and tries to develop the bhavana. There are both ways, samatha and vipassana. Samatha mean the mental, you think about your mental happiness by doing, by concentrating your mind into a particular subject, that's called samatha. So that method is, you can find even away from Buddha's teachings, and you can go up to the maximum, like you can fly, you can see, I mean, I said the dibba chakku, I mean, you can produce the eye, which you can see things which are very far away, but those things can gain even without Buddhism. But to have the vipassana, it's the rarest thing. So uh, having vipassana knowledge mean you have the wisdom eye, the eye of the panya, then that is the rarest thing. The Buddha said in one of the sutta, like, when we are having the physical eye, the most prominent thing in the world in the daytime is the sun. When we observe the sun, when we see things in the daytime, we have no doubt that whether there is sun or not, because we know exactly sun is there, because we can see that. And in the night time, most prominent thing is the moon. Suppose if the moon available night, at that time we don't have any doubt whether moon is there or not, because we know for sure, because we can see the moon. Similarly, when one have the eye of panya, or the wisdom eye, he know the dhamma, he know the four noble truths, and he know the righteousness of the dhamma. It's more prominent to him even than the sun and moon, because he can see clearly the reality of the world with the dhamma eye. So with that I would like to, uh, to help you and to assist you to gain that dhamma eye. There are, the first thing is to have the right vision, right view, sammaditthi. People have translated it as a right view, but it's a, it doesn't give you the correct meaning of the sammaditthi. So to have sammaditthi, there are two stages: conventional right view, conventional sammaditthi, also the ultimate sammaditthi. The sammuti and paramarthi. Sammuti mean, day to day life. We must have a good life. That's why the Buddha focused. We have to maintain a good physical well-being. That's come under conventional truth, and also the ultimate truth. You should know about the four noble truth. So it's like, to understand you. Suppose you need to follow a master degree, and if a baby has to learn from the great one. First he has to complete the primary education, then only he can move into the higher education. So when at the time person learning about primary education, at that time he cannot touch the higher education. And after completing the primary education, if one moves to the higher education, at that time he's studying only the higher education. He cannot he doesn't learning about the primary education, because already he have completed. But he the both the occasion in both the occasion, they don't reject anything. Like the persons who are having higher education, they don't reject, they don't reject about the primary education, because he reached up to that level because of the completion of the primary education. So that some people are questioning that, In the conventional truth we talk about karma and persons, good persons, bad person. And in the ultimate truth we talk about there's no I, there's no me, anatta, no self. Then how can this if there's no if there's nothing called me and mine myself, then who is collecting karma? They asking that kind of question. That is because they don't have this conventional right view properly, and also the ultimate right view properly. So it's like, as I said, at the time the one who is finding education, when he is following higher education, at that time he doesn't think about the primary education. And still he don't reject it, because he have learned, he have completed that private education, and he come to that level. So similarly this conventional truth and also uh, the ultimate truth works together. So under conventional truth, you should know there are 10 factors Buddha said to gain the right view. Conventionally you should possess these basic 10 steps. The first set, atti dinnang, atti ittang, atti hutang. That means, at first Buddha said, you should know about dana. When you give dana, when you give things to others, you will receive, good things to you. You will get the good karma. That is, kind of, it's not a belief. Actually, it's experience. In the world also, we may have heard that uh, give respect to take respect. So similarly, when you want to have the physically comfortable life, that's why Buddha asked to practice dana. When you are practicing dana, mean you will get your physical comfort, physical well-being. And also atti hutang mean, it mean like the people think that, most people, the mind is the forerunner, mind is the main thing, and therefore you have to be more focused on the mind. If you give less, and if you mentally, if you can be happy, that is the thing. No, that is wrong. If you give things, you will take things, you will receive things. And also if you give more things, you will get more things. If you give more uh, physical happiness to others, you will eventually get the more physical comfortable. And uh, atti ittang, atti hutang mean, as a general person, you need to respect elders. So those jhanas and those, uh, sotapanna, sakadagami, those, noble qualities are known as uturu ministam. Uturu ministam mean higher human qualities. So just imagine, if you want to have the higher human qualities, at least you should have, first hand you should have human qualities. So those are the conventional truth. We talk about normal human qualities. As a human, you have to be a good human being. So that's why you are trying to help others by giving dana. And by giving more dana, also you are maintaining that good human nature. So when you have those basic human qualities, of course you are obvious to gain the superhuman qualities, like dhyanas and magapalas and things like that. So the third, that's why the Buddha asked, as human beings, if there are elders of us, if the person who are having the noble characters, like people who maintain five precepts, people who maintain more precepts, they are having a moral valuable character. Then so we have to respect them. By respecting them, we gain merits. The Buddha said, and the third step. And the fifth one, it said, fourth one, it said, kammassa kata sammajiti. Then we must have the vision that when we do good karma, eventually we reap the good vipakas. And also when we do bad karma, eventually in the future lives and also in this life also, we will tend to get the uh, good results, good consequences. So that is called the fourth one, talk about karma. And the fifth one and the sixth one, it talk about atti mata, atti pita. We have to be very careful about our parents. Especially, suppose I can see that people, they going to meditate, going to do bhavana, but they don't care about their parents. By hurting the minds of the parent, they try to do meditation. The Buddha said it cannot be done, because you are not caring your parents mean you are not a good human qualities. So obviously you will not have the chance of getting higher human qualities. That is why in Buddhism, uh, to our parents, Buddha has given a great place. So we have to be first. We have to look after our parents properly in the way possible. With maximum capacity, we have to be taken care of our parents. So it comes under the conventional right view. And the sixth one, it said Attiloko, and seventh one to Paraloko. That means as Buddhist, we should be aware, like we are having this world, and also those who are performing bad deeds, they will be born in the lower realms like hells and things like that. And also those who are performing good human qualities, they will be born as gods. So we have to believe that we should know that that's not something we should believe. That's an obvious fact that when you put some water into a higher place due to the gravitational effect, it will eventually flows down. Similarly, in the human world, suppose there are some humans, they are behaving like animals. So it's natural tendency that they will be born in the lower realms like hells, because though they have born as human, but they behaving like animals. So it's a natural phenomena. And also there are some persons, they are being born as human, but they are living as gods. Very kind, very pleasing. We like to talk to them. So obviously they will be born in the uh, higher realms like celestial beings. As celestial beings, they will be born. So we should have that knowledge. I mean, this world, and there are some other worlds also. you know Suppose we cannot see with our physical life, but when you have the jhanas and things, you can experience those things. If you want to put that into test, then that's the way you can practice meditation, and you can for yourself you can experience that. And also in science also, now in we have the ability to uh, things take signal from the distant worlds, distant planets, from the distant universes, and thereby same planetary systems like our solar system, all the universes also having infinite number of stars are there. So infinite number of planets are there, so definitely infinite number of beings are there in those worlds. So it's a nothing to believe. Actually, it is the proven thing. And that kind of vision, as Buddhist, we must have. Because why we believe about this world and the other world? Because when we, as I said, when we can live uh, as a good human being, then future lives will be born in the good places. That's why that believe, that that knowledge is required. And the seventh, it said, eighth, it said Opapathika mean beings who have the ability to born spontaneously. Like uh, when we are born into the human world, we spend 10 months in mother's womb and we came out. But in the other worlds, when you go to hell and when you go to the devas worlds, they are not like that. You will be born there and suddenly, without having any incubation time. So that beliefs has to be there. I mean, it's not belief, it's you are not believing, it's a thing. Yeah, even scientifically also proven that when someone can learn about parthenogenesis or something like that, scientifically proven that there are beings are there without suddenly spontaneously they coming out due to the certain causes and conditions. You can find that information, so you should have that knowledge. And finally, as the 10th step, we should believe that we should know that time to time the superhuman beings like Buddha come to this world and reveal the truth of the world. So suppose Buddha, uh, as a bodhisattva, before he become enlightened, he thought like though he had so many physical materialistic gains. He had been born as kings, universal monarchs, but still he was lacking behind something. And he was deeply thinking, and he thought that in this world there are we can see fire, and to douse or to put off or the extinguish, we can put like water kind of thing. By putting water, we can distinguish the fire. So Bodhisattva observe the nature of aging and nature of sicknesses and the nature of the death. So those three scenarios, by having lots of physical wealth, we cannot avoid, we cannot escape. You know, the person, the world richest person in the world, can he spend lots of money and can he postpone the death? No, he cannot. So Buddha said, Buddha thought, Bodhisattva thought, you know, to distinguish the fire, there are some things like water. So there definitely has to be something to he consider these scenarios like fire, like aging, sicknesses, and death. So he thought to find some kind of water. So that water is known as the nibbana, the nibbana. That's why nibbana mean extinguishing the fire of the samsara. So that's why he found the method. So he had that kind of vision even before Bodhisattva become enlightened. He had the vision that there has to be definitely something to be some solution for this problem of aging and sicknesses and suffering. So he had that vision. So that's why eh, before we reach to the nibbana, we should at least have the glimpse that there has to be something like that. So in under conventional truth, those necessary conditions are required. Then then you can consider deeply about the four noble truth. Then you can have the right vision. So because it's kind of when you having those basic conventional truth, that means you have already completed properly your primary education. At that time you automatically get the qualification to apply for the higher education. So to have the higher education mean you have to go through the four noble truths properly. And it's a four noble truths. If I said it briefly, Buddha talk about suffering and the causes of suffering, and the cessation of suffering, and way leading to the cessation of suffering. And you know it's known as dukkha. No, people known as suffering, but it's a completely irrelevant translation. Because uh, suppose there are beings in the form world and formless worlds, because they are having jhana, they are having much comfortable life. But Buddha said still they are suffering. And people who have the divine capabilities, they are superly enjoying their lives, but still they are coming under the suffering, coming under dukkha. So then how can we say that they are suffering? Because they are having, I mean, when you have jhana mean it's immensely happiness, but still they are coming under suffering. If you take the factor of dukkha, there is no differences between the human beings and the celestial beings. They are coming all under the category of dukkha. So that's why this suffering or the dukkha has to be understood not by the uh, experience of pain, physical pain, or the just experience. It cannot be understood by measuring the level of feeling. It has to be understood by the wisdom. That's why I said to have the vision of uh, panya, vision of wisdom, is very much important in this path of the dhamma. Otherwise you cannot see things clearly. When you see things clearly, just imagine, uh, just let's forget about the wisdom eye for a while. And suppose if you have the vision, if you have the normal eyesight, when you want to go somewhere, uh, and when you see the path, you can clearly go through the path because you can see the path. And similarly, that's why the importance of having the wisdom mind. When you have the eye, you don't need any support. The Buddha said, uh, the persons who are having the wisdom eye, they called aparapache. Aparapache mean they are support. They don't need any support. Even even the Buddha doesn't need to support them. He know himself how to go, because he has the eye, and he can see things clearly. He know the beginning, he know the middle, and he knows the end also. So he has to perform. That's why he's practicing morality and samadhi and prajna. he happily practiced those Sila Samadhi Prajna and he happily arrived to the destination of Nibbana. So that is our target as a Buddhist. We must keep. So time is, flying. So I don't have much time, and with that, I would like to end this Dhamma discourse. And this is the time for questioning. If anyone has the question, you can ask. There's a one question. Bhante, are the characteristics of the three persons you explained at the beginning applied only for lay people, as monastics are not interested in acquiring materialistic wealth? uh, for the monastic, for the lay people, they have to be considered both of the physical and the mental well behavior, and also the monks, it's important, like, they have to maintain a physical, healthy body. Like, that's why the Buddha asked to, depend on only one meal per day, because by maintaining such kind of a life, Buddha ask us to maintain a physical well-being. uh, we do, walking meditation, that too, that we do in order to maintain a healthy life, a healthy body. When we are having a healthy body only, we can think about the healthy mind. So it doesn't matter whether you are a monastic or laity. Both of the people, both of them has to care about the physical well-being. I think uh, there's no more questions available. So with that, I would like to conclude today's Dhamma talk, and I would like to, share all my merits to the people who have. There are some questions available, and Anthony asking is that, thank you, Bante. Does developing the wisdom eye also include discerning Mara? In the text, may venerables are able to clearly see Mara. Uh, yeah, it's a beautiful question, and in Kakachupam Sutra, uh, we talk about anger. So, in Kakachupam Sutra, as monastic, uh, if we have the anger, that means we are failing. We failed on the mission. The Buddha said, as monks, at any time, we cannot have a mind with anger. Suppose the most prominent thing is to, happen to us. Someone comes to us and kill us. That is the most, dangerous thing, that most harmful thing that person can do to us. So Buddha said, at that time, at the time, there are people comes and, by with the two-handled saw, just try to saw us into two parts and try to kill us. But still, if we maintain an anger mind towards them, then we are not, following the Buddha's teaching. So the Buddha said, like, when you have the wisdom, that we know anger is the wisdom mind. Anger is a thing which we cannot go through the path. So we are not letting any chances of the anger. So the Buddha said in, commentaries, the simile, there are some cunning vendors are there. So when they doing businesses, they place tricks. Their aim is to find money. So when a bhikkhu, when he practice with the wisdom, he know the negative effects of the anger. He doesn't let his mind to get any kind of anger in any kind of situation. So Buddha, make him equal, that the cunning mender, as cunning mender, because cunning mender plays tricks to the people and earns money. This particular bhikkhu plays tricks to the Mara and just escaping from him. So when we have the right eye, the wisdom eye, of course we can uh, discern, we can uh, we can penetrate the Mara's traps and Mara's snares. So of course it's obvious, we can clearly uh, understand about the Mara when you have the wisdom eye. And someone is Dinko, I think. I think I pronounce the name properly. Bante, can you explain the difference between mundane right view and super mundane right view? Thank you. Already I explained, but I would like to add further. Like mundane right view, it's Buddha ask us to have the good human qualities, and super mundane human right view mean to know about ultimate truth. It's like if I give you the simile, suppose when you are going to put a concrete slab. I hope you are getting this simile. You know to to put a your aim is to put a concrete slab, suppose, and before you put the concrete slab, you cannot take the concrete mixture, and you cannot suddenly put at once. So before that, you need to have the shuttering properly. Shuttering mean the basic structure. On that structure you put the concrete mixture, and you let it to dry for a number of days, and after that you will remove the shuttering, the basic structure, then you will get the concrete slab. The similar thing happens here. The conventional mundane right view works as a shuttering. It is the basement of your super mundane right view. So when you having this mundane right view, mean you are super human, good human being. That means you are having human qualities. You know about dana, you know about karma, you know about wholesome, you know about unwholesome, and when you know those, you don't do bad or unwholesome karma. Instead you try to perform good karma. So you taken care of your parents, and you since that you are a good human being. That means you have the good shuttering. The basement is powerful. Basement is uh, strength enough to hold the ultimate truth. Then when by having those basics, mundane right view, and then it is not enough. It is even Buddha's time, even before the Buddha, that that state people had. By having that state, you try to understand, you try to penetrate the Dhamma and try to produce the wisdom mind. Thereby you understand the super mundane right view, like about the Four Noble Truths. That's why you have to go through lots of sermons. In this empty cloud monastery, when I also attending some sutras, and Buddha's teachings is elaborating very beautifully by Bhante Sudaso and other venerables. So that's why we have to learn Dhamma. Then we get the glimpse of the ultimate truth. So when you understand the completely, one day, if of course it's possible. That's why in Dhamma known as Sandittika. Sandittika means you can see the results right now, right here. And Ehipassika mean I can invite to anyone, come and see, because the thing that I have said to you right now, there's nothing to believe. If you wisely, carefully think what I taught to you, then you can experience them within your life. Just imagine, I talk about the worldly right view, mundane right view. Suppose if you are not living as a human being, then how can you achieve you know the superhuman qualities like jhana and magapala and things. So that's why it's not, there's nothing to believe. Of course, it's all, this dhamma is to make you a good human being and also to find you the complete satisfaction. So so in that way you can, you mean reach the, the levels, the, to understand the super mundane right view also. So you have to be a little bit, go further by dedication yourself about the dhamma. So of course it's obvious that you can, possible to have that, super mundane right view. So I think, that's with that, let's begin, let's end up, let's conclude our dhamma talk. And I would like to share merit, especially uh, empty cloud monastery, especially Bhante Sudasso, Ayasoma, and the other venerables. uh, they have doing a great, uh, you know uh, dedication, great devotion to enhance the qualities of the dhamma and to share these noble dhamma to the people who are willing to have dhamma and willing to learn. So uh, I really appreciate and I pay my gratitude towards them, and I share all my merits to them. And may all those, bhikkhus, monastics, and laity, which who are behind the empty cloud monastery, and all those people, may they be well, be happy in this life, and as well as in the future lives also, and may they be able to attain supreme bliss of nibbana. And also I would like to remind my teachers, Venerable Man Kadal Sudarsana Thero and Venerable Man Kadal Nandaratana Thero, and Venerable Man Kadal, Venerable Kokmali Kumar Kassapa Thero. They are my teachers, and I would like to share all these merits to my teachers. May my teachers be well, be happy, spend the good time over this life and also in the future lives, and may they be able to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. And also the deities who are protecting, uh, these, all of you, and this Dhamma, these noble Kalyana Mittas, may all those superficial super beings, Devas, they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana with these merits. And finally, with the infinite blessings of noble triple gems, and also with these all merits, uh, especially the Bante who have conducted this, you know, uh, provide me these stages. I can see the Bante, but I don't know the name of him, and I remind him also. And all of you who have attended to this Dhamma talk, with these merits, infinite triple gems, with infinite blessings of triple gems, may all of you be able to have a good life in this life. Be well, all of them, be well, be happy, and may be able to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana soon. With that, I will bless you in Pali and receive my blessing to everyone. Triple gem bless you. අභිවාදන සීලිස්ස නිච්ඡං වද්ධාපචායිනෝ චත්තාරෝ ධම්මා වඩ්ඩಂತಿ ආයුවන්නෝ සුභං බලං ආයු ආරෝග්‍ය සම්පatti සග්ග සම්පatti මේවච අතෝ නිබ්බාන සම්පatti ඉමිනාතේ සමිජ්ජතු. සාදු සාදු සාදු.